A recent Gallup study found that Americans remain distrustful of mass media. 6 out of 10 Americans trust the media either not very much or not at all when it comes to reporting the news fairly and accurately. You know what that tells me? There's a real struggle to discern what's true and knowable by what we're hearing and reading. I know this has been true for me. I have a conversation with a friend and I say, well, I heard this and I read this, and she might say, well, I heard this and I read this, and then we spend this time ping-ponging back and forth to try to figure out what's true. How does this make sense? What's going on? This is leading to an unbelievable amount of anxiety, fear, the feeling of vulnerability, just the uncertainty of what are we seeing, what are we reading, what are we hearing, and this is playing out. We're seeing that we really don't know how to live. We're seeing deaths by despair. We're now seeing acts of desperation. So can we actually know what's true in regards to ultimate reality and what we're seeing in this world? I've learned from this past year that I do not know what tomorrow will bring, but I do know that God's word has been the one source of truth I can trust. It has not changed. It is the one thing I can tell my children is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Life will change. Our situations are constantly changing, but my salvation has not changed. I want to read to you from Psalm 119. It's the longest chapter in the Bible, and it's really a celebration of the gift of God's word as the perfect guide for life. I won't read you all 170 some verses. I'll just read 3, starting in verse 142. It says, "Your justice is eternal, and your instructions are perfectly true. As pressure and stress bear down on me, I find joy in your commands. Your laws are always right. Help me to understand them so that I may live." What I find in these 3 verses are the complete counter to what we're seeing in culture. First, his instructions are perfectly true. There is a place to go to know pure, perfect, objective truth, and it's found in God's word. And the antidote to the fear and that sense of vulnerability that isn't comfortable in our anxiety is to delight ourselves in God's word. Our circumstances won't change, but that deep, abiding joy that you want that goes beyond your circumstances are found in God's word. And third, because his word is right forever, it never changes. It teaches us how we can live in each moment. And we got to live as salt and light. I don't think any of us knows what we're going to face tomorrow. And I like the saying that Chuck Colson used to say, that salvation does not arrive on Air Force One. This world is desperate for what we have. It is desperate for the hope and the truth that we have in God's word. On New Year's Eve, I found myself watching Star Wars: A New Hope with my 11-year-old son. And this is the one where Princess Leia says, I gotta get it right, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." And I burst out in that moment and I said, no, Jesus is our only hope. And I got a really good eye roll from my 11-year-old. But it's been on replay in my mind. Jesus is our only hope. And we have it. Church, we need to be the church. And to be the church, we have to know God's word. So I implore you, I beg you, and I want to tell you, it's worth it. Get into God's word. Dig, meditate, memorize, pray through those words. Know God's word so you can know truth and you can know how to live. Let's be salty, let's be light, and let's be bearers of the hope of truth that we have in Jesus. If you want to know more about how to get into God's word, call us. We want to help you, but more than anything, I want you to know you can trust God's word.